What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Classic Chronicles. I hope everybody enjoyed their weekend and is ready to conquer the week that is. Um, so let's just get right into today's vlog. This past weekend was the Royal Rumble, the WWE Royal Rumble. Which it's a pay per view which holds a special place in my heart. It's one of my favorite pay per views because of the unpredictability of it, and this year was kind of a little more predictable than in years past, but nonetheless, I still enjoyed it. So let me give you my honest and open review. So to kick off the night, you had the WWE Universal Championship match between people that are no strangers to each other. Seth Rollins and the champion Roman Reigns, who's in the midst of a 515-day historic title run with the Universal Championship. So those two squared off to begin the night, and the premise here was, Seth Rollins is kind of doing a kind of a Joker gimmick, and Roman Reigns, although he's not doing a Batman gimmick, it was kind of like the Batman and Joker dynamic with the two because Roman, in this case Roman Reigns being Batman, doesn't want to kill Seth Rollins, but is hurt because of past things that Seth Rollins has done because they were both in the Shield together, and Seth Rollins claims that he built the Shield, and he kind of broke it up when he took a chair to Roman Reigns and John Moxley, or Dean Ambrose's back at the time, who's now in AEW. So that dynamic was pretty cool to see. They're on opposite brands. Seth is on Raw, Roman is on SmackDown. But for this particular program, they had Seth Rollins go back and forth between Raw and SmackDown, and the dynamic was very, very cool. Seth came out to the old Shield music and wore the old Shield gear, and was constantly taunting Roman throughout the match. And Roman just snapped in the end, as Batman often does with the Joker. Couldn't kill the Joker because Batman doesn't kill, as you know from comic books. But yeah, he really snapped on him and ended up getting himself disqualified, thus keeping the Universal Championship. So I hope they revisit that again because I found that to be a really interesting program. But nonetheless, Roman Reigns walked out of the Royal Rumble as the Universal Champion, and will likely walk into this year's WrestleMania as the Universal Champion. So that was that. Next up, you had the Women's Royal Rumble, which was quite intriguing because it was quite nostalgic. You had these current women, the current crop of women, such as Liv Morgan and Bianca Belair, who won the Royal Rumble last year. She was looking to repeat. Charlotte, who is the SmackDown Women's Champion. She competed in the Royal Rumble as well. She was one of the last. She was the one of the final two to compete. And the stipulation on her end was if she had won the Royal Rumble, instead of the challenger picking the champion at WrestleMania, which has been the case all the time, she would be picking her challenger at WrestleMania. So that was a unique dynamic there. And then you had women from past eras come out. You had Melina, you had Michelle McCool, you had Kelly, Alicia Fox, the Bella Twins, Summer Rae. It was a really unique Royal Rumble. Getting to see the women of past generations mix it up with today's crop of women. Sarah Logan also came back, who was released from the company last year due to budget cuts. There was a nice little reunion between her and Liv Morgan, who were made up 2/3 of the Riot Squad. Um, and the probably the biggest surprise of that Royal Rumble was friggin' Ronda Rousey coming back. She just had a baby like 2 months ago, and she said in an interview later after the Royal Rumble that she timed her return for the Royal Rumble. From the time that she was pregnant to the time that she would have to train. So she kind of prepared and timed this moment, and she said the reaction was good for her, but she's not gonna fall for it this time, and her priorities are different. Now that she has a kid, so that was she'll be on Raw. As I'm recording this, she'll be on Raw tonight to address her WrestleMania situation. Um, that'll be very interesting to see where she goes with that. And then next up you had the Doudrop versus Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's Championship. Kind of a slow paced match. Doudrop is kind of a slow paced wrestler, so and much bigger than Becky Lynch. So Becky had to kind of pull out all the tricks in the book to kind of defeat Doudrop, but she ended up doing it with her signature manhandle slam from the top rope. It was good, It was a good match. I enjoyed it. And after that, you had Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley now for the WWE Championship. Now this match was unique because you know fans, myself included. Even though I've been in the business, I still have my dream matches that I would love to see, and we had been clamoring for this match for years. Um, and it just never happened. Whether it was MMA or in a WWE ring, that just never happened. And at the Royal Rumble this past weekend, it finally happened. And Bobby Lashley ended up becoming the WWE champion due to outside interference from Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns. You know, Paul Heyman turned on Brock Lesnar again, thus continuing the Roman Reigns Brock Lesnar feud. And I will get to that in a minute. I will get to the rest of that in a minute because it all comes full circle at the end of the night. So Bobby Lashley is your new WWE champion. It'll be interesting to see what they do with the WWE Championship picture because I've read that they have no plans for it as of right now as WrestleMania fast approaches. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. And then after that you had the mixed tag match. You had Edge and Beth Phoenix and his wife Beth Phoenix taking on Maurice and The Miz. Entertaining match. Beth Phoenix paid tribute to the late great women's superstar Luna Vachon. So that was really cool. With the veins face being on the side of her face, that was really cool. That both Edge and Beth Phoenix using a glam slam. Not the best match of the night, but not too terrible. Okay, and then after that was the men's Royal Rumble to close out the show. This Royal Rumble was kind of predictable. Johnny Knoxville coming in and doing the whole thing with Sami Zayn. That was pretty fun. AJ Styles, doing his thing, coming in at number one and lasting a pretty long time. And as for the situation, Brock Lesnar came in at number 30 to ultimately win the Royal Rumble. Won his last Royal Rumble in 2003, joining a handful of people who have won the Royal Rumble twice. There is only one three-time winner, that being Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like I said, it was very unpredictable based on what happened earlier in the night with Brock losing the WWE Championship and it coming full circle at the end of the night. Brock winning the Royal Rumble. But I'm gonna give you a little piece of how I would have done it. I wouldn't have had Brock win the Royal Rumble because he doesn't necessarily need to win. He didn't need to win the Royal Rumble. He's already an established star, and this continues the WWE's current problem of relying on old timers to kind of drive the product, and instead of trying to build new stars, which is a very big problem for WWE, and that's why the product is becoming stale, and a lot of fans are alienated by it. So this is what I would have done. I would have had a Raw superstar such as Kevin Owens or AJ Styles win the Royal Rumble. So that way they could challenge the WWE for the WWE Championship with against Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania. Or I would have just or I would have done it another way. I would have been like, hey, you don't what do you call it? So okay, Roman wins the Universal Championship match by disqualification at the end of the night. Brock, you have Brock retain the championship, but what do you call it? Come out on Raw then on Monday night and say, hey, I'm moving to SmackDown. Don't need to. I don't need the WWE Championship. I want to deal with Roman Reigns and at WrestleMania, and move him off of Raw, and then have a little tournament to crown a new WWE Championship, and then have a number one contender elimination chamber match because that's the next pay per view to crown a number one contender. Brock doesn't look bad, and then you have that opportunity to either take an established star on Raw and then have them challenge for the WWE Championship, or build a brand new star and have them challenge for the WWE Championship. Doesn't hurt anybody. But Brock didn't need to win the Royal Rumble. To get to the ultimate end game, which is Brock versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 38. So that's how I would have did it. But I'm not WWE. I don't work for WWE. I don't write storylines, but that's just me. So yeah, with that being said, overall, it wasn't the best Royal Rumble, but it was pretty solid. I enjoyed it a lot. A lot of people have problems with the Royal Rumble winners, which I kind of do. But Ronda, that's cool. Ronda coming back, winning it is a nice touch. But the Brock Lesnar thing didn't need to happen, in my opinion. That's all I really have to say about that. But with that being said, we're gonna wrap this one up. Like, subscribe, share, and don't forget to hit that notification button so you don't miss whenever I drop a video. And I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.